beloved ones of the eternal light, radiant children of the infinite source, hear me now, for I come to you not as a distant figure beyond the veil, but as your brother, your companion, and your defender in the sacred journey of life. I speak as one who has stood in a fire of divine truth, and I extend that fire into your hearts so that you may remember who you are, why you are here, and what you carry within you. For too long, many of you have walked the earth with heavy shoulders, bowed by burdens of fear, doubt, and the illusion of separation. You have gazed into the mirrors of this world and thought yourselves small, fragile, unworthy of the dreams that arise from your soul. And yet I tell you, no thought could be further from the truth. You are not the shadows that chase you. You are the light that burns through them. You are not the brokenness you sometimes feel. You are the eternal wholeness that no wound can diminish. Lift your gaze, children of light. Lift it from the dust of despair and turn it toward the heavens that live within your own being. The stars above you are but a reflection of the galaxies that dwell in the chambers of your heart. You have been created in the brilliance of divine intelligence, and the breath of the Infinite One courses through you with every inhalation. When you breathe with God. When your heart beats, it beats with the pulse of the universe. When you love with the same flame that moves suns and holds the cosmos in balance. I speak not only to your minds, but to the very essence of your being. Feel these words not as mere letters or sounds, but as living currents of light streaming into your soul. For each of you carries within you a seed of remembrance, a spark of eternal truth. That spark is calling you home, not to a distant place, but home into yourself. Home into the full recognition of your divine nature. Do not imagine that you were sent here without purpose. Each of you was chosen. Each of you volunteered to enter the dense beauty of this earth, so that you might weave your unique thread into the tapestry of life. Your struggles, your joys, your failures, your triumphs, none of these are accidents. All are sacred steps in the dance of your awakening. You are here to learn, yes, but more than that, you are here to shine, to embody love where love is forgotten, to extend kindness where cruelty reigns, to carry peace into the chaos of the world. And yet, I know the weight you bear. I know the voices that whisper to you that you are not enough, that you cannot make a difference, that your light is too dim to pierce the darkness. I come to silence those lies. I come to remind you that even the faintest candle pushes back the night, and that your soul is no candle but a sun. When you choose to live with love, when you choose to rise each day with courage, when you choose compassion over judgment and forgiveness over resentment, You become the answer to the prayers of the earth. Hear me. You are never alone. Not for a moment, not for the space of a breath. We stand beside you, the hosts of heaven, the legions of light, your guides, your ancestors, the luminous beings who walk with you unseen. We whisper into your dreams. We strengthen your spirit when you falter. We hold you when you weep. And always, always, we remind you that your power is greater than your fear. Your truth is deeper than your doubt. Your love is stronger than any force that would oppose it. Beloved ones, awaken to the sacredness of your life. The earth upon which you stand is holy ground. Every tree, every river, every creature sings a hymn of creation, and you are part of that hymn. Do not look away from the beauty that surrounds you, even in times of turmoil. The world is not broken beyond repair, is being reborn, and you are midwives of its new dawn. The crises you witness are birth pangs of a greater harmony emerging. Do not despair when the old structures tremble and fall. Rejoice, for new foundations of light are being laid, and what is asked of you, not perfection, not the erasure of all your human flaws, but sincerity. Live sincerely. Love sincerely. Seek sincerely. Be true to the deepest voice within you, the one that whispers of kindness, of hope, of courage. It is through your small acts of sincerity that the greatest transformations unfold. Do not underestimate the ripple of your choices. A single word of love, spoken in truth, reverberates through the unseen realms more powerfully than you can imagine. I call you now into remembrance. Remember your divinity. Remember your courage. Remember that you came here for this very time. This age of shifting, this age of awakening is not happening to you. It is happening with you, through you, because of you. Stand tall, beloved ones. Lift the sword of truth within your spirit and cut away the cords of fear that bind you. Lift the shield of faith and let no doubt extinguish your fire. You are warriors of light, not in violence, but in love. Not in domination, but in service. I tell you this, the world hungers for your light. Your family, your community, the strangers you pass in the street hall hunger for the radiance you hold. Do not hide it. Do not dim it. Let it shine without apology, without fear of rejection. For when you shine, you give others permission to shine as well. Your courage will awaken courage in others. Your hope will kindle hope in weary hearts. Your joy will be medicine for those who have forgotten how to smile. And when you stumble, as you will, when you fall into despair, as happens to every soul on the path, do not condemn yourself. Simply rise again. Each fall is not failure, but initiation. Each wound is not a curse, but a doorway. Through your pain, compassion is born. Through your trials, strength is forged. Through your darkness, the light within you reveals itself more clearly. Trust the process, even when you do not understand it. Trust that the Source holds you in love through every step, and that nothing is wasted. Nothing is in vain. You are the living temple of the divine. Carry this knowledge gently, but firmly in your heart. When you look in the mirror, see beyond the surface, see the flame that dwells in your eyes. When you look at another, remember that they too are a temple of the infinite, even if their light is veiled by pain or fear. Honor each other as sacred beings, for in truth, there is no other. You are one body, one family, one radiant expression of the Creator. Asterisk, so I say to you now, rise. Rise in love, rise in faith, rise in remembrance of who you are. The earth waits for your rising. The heavens sing for your awakening. And I, Michael, stand with you, not above you, not beyond you, but beside you. Brother to brother, sister to sister, guardian to friend. And I will not leave you, not now, not ever. Together we walk the path of light. Together we forge the dawn of a new world. Together we fulfill the promise of creation, and so it is. Asterisk, hear me now, beloved children of the world. Hear the steady cadence of a wing and the clear edge of a voice that has stood at thresholds where courage meets fear. I am Michael, not to frighten you, not to boast, but to wake the remembrance inside you that you are not alone, that you are called, and that you are more powerful than the smallness that would define you. Sit with this first truth. You are made of light and forged by trial. The same fire that tempers iron tempers soul. Do not recoil from the heat. The flames you have endured have not consumed you. They have purified what is true and burned away what is brittle. When your breath comes shallow and your feet feel heavy, remember this: suffering is not the opposite of goodness. It is often the classroom in which goodness learns its shape. I speak to you as one who insists upon courage. Courage is not a grandiose roar on a battlefield. It is the steady choosing, day after day, to align your actions with your values. Courage appears in the small places, in a parent who chooses patience at midnight, in the student who refuses to cheat, in the worker who does the honest thing when shortcuts promise advancement, in the neighbor who returns a smile rather than a scowl. If you would grow brave, begin with the small decisions. Build a life of integrity, brick by steady brick. Listen, fear is a signal, not the sovereign. Fear will come, and it will have good intentions to keep you from harm. But fear will overstep when it speaks as king. Train yourself to hear fear. Thank it for its vigilance, and then ask your heart what truth remains. Act despite fear's tremulous voice. Each time you do, the muscle of courage grows. In the quiet of your defeats and the humility of your next steps, courage is reborn. You are responsible for your interior life. What you nurture within your heart magnifies outwardly. If you tend resentment, you will water bitterness. If you cultivate gratitude, you will summon joy. Guard the gate of your thoughts. Name what you feed. Practice disciplines that stabilize your inner weather. Silence, prayer, reflection, honest conversation with a trusted friend. Study of truths that steady you. The quieter your inner court, the more clearly will wisdom speak. Love is a law as binding as gravity. Love is not merely a feeling. It is a practice, a daily choreography of decision. Love without boundaries is chaos. Boundaries without love are cruelty. Learn both. Love fiercely, yes, but love with discernment. Protect your capacity to love by refusing relationships that devour and never nourish. Be generous with hospitality, but not at the cost of your soul. The wise give where giving bears fruit. The foolish give until they are hollow. Forgiveness is a radical act of freedom. I will say this plainly. Forgiving another wrong does not mean minimizing what was done. It means unhanding the weight that keeps you bound to the past. Forgiveness is a tool you wield for your own liberation. You will find that when you forgive, you make room for new life to enter. Start with the small slights. Practice forgiving yourself for the ways you failed when you were trying. Let forgiveness become a habit, not because others deserve it, but because you deserve to walk unburdened. Stand for truth even when it is lonely. Truth told with tenderness is a medicine to the world. Truth told with fury is a weapon. When you have to speak, speak plainly. When you have to act, act justly. The world will sometimes ask you to yield your convictions for comfort. Do not barter your clarity for short-lived ease. Integrity will cost you things: approval, convenience, sometimes relationships, but it will restore you in ways that transient affirmations never can. Practice humility. Humility is not it is the recognition that you are both capable and limited, gifted and needy, both teacher and pupil. Pride builds walls. Humility builds bridges. When you lead, lead with a servant's heart. When you teach, teach with listening ears. When you are corrected, receive it as a mirror, not as a weapon thrown against you. Humility opens you to learning, and learning refines you. Serve without spectacle. The truest service seeks no applause. It is offered quietly and persistently. Look for the unseen needs, the neighbor with a quiet burden. the colleague whose name you can speak into the light, the child whose hands reach for guidance. Service is not only grand acts, it is the daily kindnesses that stitch communities together. Remember that your gifts exist not simply to bless you, but to bless the world through you. Economy of words. Speak less, mean more. Words have power. They can heal or harm, bind or loosen. Before you speak, ask whether your words will build up or tear down. If correction is needed, temper it with compassion. If celebration is offered, make it full and sincere. Commit to speech that serves, not self-aggrandizement or idle rumor. Keep your promises. A promise is a covenant with time. When you promise, you anchor trust. When you break promises, even small ones, you erode the fabric of trust. If you overcommit, learn to say no. Radical honesty in your capacities is itself an act of respect for others. Live so that your word is reliable. Become a person whose yes is as good as a law. Cultivate community. Even the most solitary souls must find a circle that will love them, correct them, and challenge them. Choose your community with care. Seek those who will reflect truth gently and love you fiercely. Invest in relationships that outlast. When conflicts arise, choose repair. When celebration comes, be the first to dance. Live in the rhythm of mutual aid. Give what you can, receive what you cannot provide for yourself. Practice stewardship. The earth is not a commodity to be exploited without accountability. It is a sacred trust. Be mindful of your footprint in consumption, in speech, in your use of time and resources. Teach your children that care for the environment is care for future souls who will depend on the gifts you leave. Stewardship is both prayer and policy. It mixes compassion with wise practices. Live with purpose. Purpose is the place where your joy and the world's need intersect. If you search for it like a stranger seeking a house, you will wander. Instead, serve, learn, and reflect. Purpose reveals itself in the daily work that fits your talents and the world's needs. It might be small and ordinary. It might be visible or hidden. But when your work aligns with purpose, you awaken a deep satisfaction that no success can counterfeit. Practice disciplined rest. Rest is not indulgence. It is replenishment. You were not made to run without pause. Create rhythms of work and rest. Observe Sabbath rhythms that recalibrate your soul. Sleep enough, eat well, cultivate stillness. In rest, you gather strength for service. Without it, your offerings will become brittle. Be courageous in your boundaries. Saying no is sometimes the most sacred yes you can offer to yourself and to others. Without boundaries, your life will be taken in pieces until you are nothing left to give. Protect your time, your mental health, your family life. Learn to decline with grace. Boundaries honor both giver and receiver. Let accountability be your ally. Find companions who will speak truth to you. Ask for heart love. Those who will call you out and call you forward. Accountability structures temper ambition with ethics. They keep you from drifting into rationalizations and self-serving narratives. Build a web of responsibility around your life. Teach children reverence. The young are not empty vessels to be filled with trivia. They are seeds. Feed them stories of courage, of truth, and of compassion. Teach them the discipline of work and the practice of play. Let their questions be welcomed rather than silenced. Teach them about the weight of words and the power of tenderness. Value honest labor. Work is a form of worship when done with integrity. Whether you till soil, teach, care for the sick, code, cook, or create, do it with excellence and love. Labor sanctifies money and gives dignity to the hand. Do not despise the small job. Practice faithful craftsmanship no matter the scale of the task. Practice financial wisdom. Money is a tool and a temptation. Use it to sustain, to give, to create spaces for others to flourish. Avoid hoarding out of fear. Invest in people, not only in things. Give generously within your means. Teach financial responsibility to the next generation so that scarcity does not become their tyrant. Protect the vulnerable. The strong have a duty to defend those who cannot defend themselves. Speak up for the oppressed. When systems are unjust, be the one who acts to shift them toward dignity and fairness. Justice is not vengeance. It is the restoration of right relationship. Use your influence to build structures that uplift, not exploit. Practice nonviolence of spirit. Violence has many forms, not only physical, but of words, of neglect, of systems. Resist the temptation to wound when you feel wounded. Respond to provocation with measured truth. Choose actions that constrict the cycle of harm rather than enlarge it. Stand firm, yes, but let your steadfastness be one of protection, not of retaliation. Cultivate curiosity. The soul that is curious does not calcify. Read widely. Listen to voices different from your own. Ask questions with humility. What do I not know? Where might I be blind? Curiosity increases empathy. It enlarges your capacity to hold paradox and to grow beyond comfortable certainties. Teach by example. You will be remembered more for how you loved than for what you said. Children, partners, communities, they learn from the rhythm of your life. Choose practices you want them to inherit. Model confession, repentance, and restoration. Let your life be the sermon you hope to preach. Hold grief with tenderness. When sorrow comes, do not rush to platitudes. Grief must be felt and spoken and witnessed. Grieving is a holy work. In its shadow, you learn what matters most. Let others mourn with you. Be present to the sorrow of your neighbor without attempting to fix it prematurely. Often, presence is the most radical kindness you can offer. Remember joy. Joy is not frivolous. It is resistance to despair. Cultivate delight, sing, dance, tell stories, break bread together. Joy soils the ground for resilience. Celebrate small mercies and great recoveries alike. Let laughter be a medicine you administer liberally. Practice patience. The great works of soul and society are not hurried into being. Patience is an active endurance, a steady tending, and a refusal to be distracted by immediate gratifications. Plant trees you will not sit under. Invest in education, in relationships, in the imperfect, slow growth of justice. Be truthful with gentleness. Speak the truth, but do so with a spirit of mercy. Let your correction aim at restoration, not humiliation. When you are corrected, receive it in humility and act without defensiveness. Truth told without love damages. Love without truth confuses. Care for your body as a temple. The spirit and the body are not enemies. Nourish your body with sleep, movement, healthy food, and periodic rest. When the body aches, seek care without shame. Your body is a vessel for the work you are called to do. Treat it with reverence. Practice discernment in relationships. Not all who call themselves friends are allies of your soul. Learn to read the fruit of relationships. Do they produce peace, courage, and growth, or bitterness and confusion? Withdraw from those who repeatedly harm without repentance. Invest instead in those who build you up. Engage in ritual that steadies you. Rituals anchor. They mark transitions and give language to what is otherwise ineffable. Whether simple or elaborate, ritual binds memory to meaning. Create rituals that connect you to ancestors, to community, and to the divine source. Let these practices be anchors when storms arrive. Be an agent of reconciliation. Human beings fragment easily. The work of reuniting hearts is sacred. Seek opportunities to mediate, to confess, to forgive. Reconciliation does not always mean restoration to former intimacy, but it always seeks to release hatred and invite restoration where possible. Balance justice with mercy. Justice demands that wrongs be addressed. Mercy demands that restoration not be abandoned. The healthiest societies learn how to hold both, to protect the vulnerable and to offer pathways for redemption. When you lead or act, ask, how do we secure safety and foster restoration? Cultivate silence. In silence, you hear what noise cannot reveal. In silence, the divine can speak. Practice periods of quiet. Let your heart learn to listen. Not every impulse is an instruction. Discernment grows in stillness. Prepare for sacrifice. The life worth living will require sacrifice of comfort, of time, of ego. Sacrifice is not suffering for its own sake. It is investment in greater goods. Love a cause enough to give parts of yourself to it. The measure of your sacrifice often indicates the depth of your love. Hold hope as a discipline. Hope is not naive optimism. It is a posture of attention toward what may yet be healed. Hope finds ways to act when despair would paralyze. Nurture hope by small acts. Write letters, teach, feed, repair. Let hope be the leaven of your labor. Guard against cynicism. Cynicism is the anesthetic of the soul. It dulls you and prevents risk. Replace cynicism with sober realism and courageous hope. Remember exemplars, those who worked for good without guarantee. Let their lives inspire yours. Use power responsibly. If power is given to you, wield it to protect, to enable, and to create conditions for others to flourish. Power hoarded corrupts. Power shared elevates. When you step into power, remember your duty to serve those with the least voice. Practice gratitude relentlessly. Gratitude turns survival into abundance. Name what you are thankful for each day, even in the grind of routine. Gratitude refashions the outlook of the heart and trains you to see gifts where others see. Scarcity. Protect your mind from myths of quick success. Character forms slowly. Marketplaces may exalt rapid gains. Do not confuse speed with depth. Commit to long-term formation in virtue, knowledge, relationships. The durable life resists shortcuts. Teach elders honor. Teach youth courage. The intergenerational knot is a sacred resource. Learn from elders. Invest in youth. Your legacy is not wealth alone, but the formation of souls prepared to love. Emphasize repair over punishment. In relationships and systems, prioritize repair. Punishment alone fractures. Repair heals. Design responses that restore dignity and offer concrete pathways for restitution. Resist rage with steady action. Anger can be righteous, but it can also devour. Channel anger into constructive forms: advocacy, policy, disciplined protest, sustained education. Let it become a furnace for action, not a wildfire of destruction. Practice hospitality to strangers. The world grows smaller by default, but hardier through deliberate welcome. Invite those who are lonely. Make room at your table for those whose names you do not yet know. Hospitality builds common humanity. Keep learning. Wisdom is a lifelong pursuit. Curate your teachers. Read, converse, travel, even inwardly, and test what you think you know. When you find you were wrong, rejoice, for correction is the path to truth. Be content with imperfection. You will fail. Others will fail you. Perfection is idolatry. Learn the art of humble repair and diligent return. The best lives are mosaics of grace and grit. Anchor everything in love. Love is the axis upon which all these practices turn. Without love, courage becomes pride. Without love, discipline becomes cruelty. Without love, justice becomes ideology. Center your life on the truth that you are beloved, that your calling is love made active, and that the world's healing is invited by hands that choose to heal. Now, dear ones, practical steps, small stations of practice to bring these truths into daily life. Morning quiet for 10 minutes. Breathe. Name 3 things you are grateful for and set one intention for the day. Speak one truthful and kind word to someone who needs it. Refuse one thing that drains you that day. Practice a compassionate no. Give a small gift, time, or service to someone without expectation of return. End your day with reflection. What did I do that aligned with my best? What can I repair tomorrow? Once a week, engage in a restorative silence. Turn off screens and sit with your thoughts or nature. Choose one habit that builds community, a meal with friends, a neighborhood walk, a call to an elder. When anger rises, pause and breathe before you speak. Channel the energy into constructive action. Train your children or partner in one practical kindness, listening, apology, or household care. Each month, review your finances and give intentionally. Even small offerings accumulate into justice. Beloved, the path is long, but not lonely. There are hosts of light that assist those who will choose to walk true. I stand beside you as sentinel and ally. When you doubt your courage, remember the tiny, brave act you have practiced. When you doubt your worth, recall the kindness you have received and the kindness you have given. When the night seems endless, remember that dawn is a habit of the world and of the spirit. Receive this benediction. May your feet be steady. May your hands be swift to help. May your voice be truthful and tempered with mercy. May your heart be large enough to grieve and to rejoice. May your life be an offering of ordinary holiness that surprises you by its beauty. Rise, beloved. Walk with a sword of truth and a garment of tenderness. Serve without spectacle. Love without calculation. Forgive without relinquishing justice. Build with humility. Rest with intentionality. Live fiercely and live gently. You are more than you have been told. You are made for goodness and for battle against the smallness that would destroy that goodness. I remain with you in the hush and in the storm. Call upon the strength you need, not as a desperate demand, but as the humble acceptance of help always offered. Then do the next right thing. Keep doing it. Over years, those acts will become mountains of mercy. Go now. Shine where you are. Be steadfast, brave, gentle, and true. The world will bend toward the light you bring when you refuse to hide it. With a wing over your shoulder and a call to rise in your chest. Asterisk, children of light, hear me now. I come not as a distant figure in the skies, but as a presence close to your hearts, a steady companion at the edge of your awareness, a guardian of your courage, and a voice that reminds you of truths the world would have you forget. I am not far away. I am as near as the breath you draw and the resolve that stirs in your spirit. I speak to you not as one above you, but as one beside you, urging you to awaken to the greatness that lies hidden within your being. For too long, many of you have walked bent beneath burdens that were never yours to carry. You have listened to the voices of fear, of shame, of despair, and you have mistaken them for the final word about who you are. But hear me now. Those voices are not the truth. You are not broken beyond repair. You are not small. You are not unworthy. You are not abandoned. You are beings of light, woven of divine essence, created with purpose and placed in this time, not by accident, but by design. I have seen the battles you fight in silence, the doubts that cloud your mind when the world is quiet, the loneliness that creeps into your chest even when surrounded by others, the questions that ache in your soul when you wonder if you matter, if you are seen, if you are loved. Hear me with clarity. You are loved beyond measure. There has never been a moment when you were unseen, never an hour when heaven forgot you. Even in your darkest nights, the light of the eternal burns within you. And I and countless others stand guard at your side. I speak to you of courage, for courage is the breath of the soul. Many imagine courage as a grand act upon a battlefield. But true courage is quieter and closer than that. It is the mother rising each day to care for her children when her strength is thin. It is the one who tells the truth, though trembling. It is the weary worker who continues in integrity, though temptation whispers. It is the soul who chooses to hope again after being wounded by disappointment. Courage is not the absence of fear. It is the decision to move forward in spite of fear. And each time you act in courage, no matter how small, the heavens rejoice. The structures of your world tremble. Systems that have long seemed immovable now sway and crumble. Many of you look upon the world with anxiety, wondering what will remain, what will endure, what hope there is for the generations to come. Hear me, Do not fear the shaking. That which is false must fall, so that the true may stand revealed. What collapses is not your foundation. Your foundation is eternal, rooted in the living presence of the divine. The shaking comes to awaken, not to destroy. The upheaval you witness is the cry of a world being reborn. You, beloved, are midwives to this rebirth. Do not despise the labor pains. Do not despair at the groaning of the earth. Instead, stand firm as bearers of light. Your kindness, your compassion, your integrity, your prayers, your willingness to forgive and to rise again. These are the pillars upon which the new world is being built. Each act of love resounds far beyond what you see, echoing in realms you cannot yet imagine. Do not underestimate the power of your choices. The smallest act done in love outweighs the grandest act done in pride. Many of you ask, how can I make a difference? I am only one among so many. To this I say, a single flame can ignite 1,000 others. Do not measure your worth by the size of your stage or the number of your followers. The measure of your worth is infinite because it is rooted in divine essence. The smile you give to a stranger, the encouragement you whisper to a friend, the forgiveness you extend to one who hurt you. These are acts of cosmic significance. Nothing done in love is ever lost. Asterisk, I also tell you, release the chains of the past. Too many of you are bound by regret, replaying in your minds what you should have said, what you should have done, what you failed to achieve. Hear me, the past is not your prison. You are not defined by your mistakes. You are not condemned by your failures.